Hello and welcome to Sky World News. And a major investigation is underway into the attempted murder of a former Russian spy and his daughter using a nerve agent. And now there are fears for a third person. One of the first police officers who arrived at the scene is also being treated in intensive care. Sky sources tell us that all three are in a coma. In a moment, we'll get reaction from Moscow and hear from Britain's Foreign Secretary, who is warning the UK will respond robustly to any Russian involvement. But first, our crime correspondent Martin Brunt has this report from Salisbury, where that attack took place.
Police appealed again for witnesses and continued their hunt for suspects. Martin Brunt, Sky News, Salisbury.
Well, as that police work continues, they've moved to reassure people that areas connected with the attack in Salisbury have been secured. And they say there's no evidence of a widespread public health risk from the poison used in the attempt to kill the former spy. So what exactly are nerve agents and how do they work? Here's Sky's science correspondent, Thomas Moore. Well, we've seen a lot of speculation about possible Russian involvement in this poisoning. So how is the news being seen in the country? Sky's Diana Magnay has more now from Moscow. OK, turning to America now, and Donald Trump has defended his plans to put steep tariffs on imports of steel and aluminium, saying European Union trade rules make it impossible for American firms to do business. Now, that move has raised the prospect of a global trade war, with Brussels preparing to hit back against American goods. Those include motorbikes, whiskey and T-shirts. Our US correspondent Mark Austin has more now from Washington. Two teenage boys have been killed in a crash on the A61 near Thirsk. Police are asking for dashcam footage of the incident, which involved three vehicles at around 9:30 last night. 5 other people and 2 children were taken to hospital. OK, let's look to the US now. And a grand jury has formally charged a 19-year-old with 17 counts of murder and 17 counts of attempted murder. That's after last month's mass shooting at a high school in Florida. Lawyers for Nicholas Cruz have said he will plead guilty to the attack if prosecutors agree not to seek the death penalty. Officials have not yet announced whether they will pursue the option of capital punishment. Several people have been injured in 2 knife attacks on the streets of Vienna. Witnesses say a man randomly attacked pedestrians near the capital's famous Prater Park, as well as at a nearby transport hub. 4 people are being treated for serious injuries, and police are investigating whether the attacks are linked. A court has heard how a bomb planted on a London Underground train last September was intended to cause maximum harm and carnage. Several people suffered significant burns when a carriage was engulfed in a large fireball at Parsons Green Station. 18-year-old Ahmed Hassan is accused of planting the device, which prosecutors say was packed with screws, knives and nails. He denies attempted murder and causing an explosion likely to endanger life. Well, this is Sky World News. Stay with us. Coming up, a crushing defeat. Tottenham drop out of the Champions League. OK, let's have a look at the weather around the world.
From cool, brisk northern fjords to the warm, tranquil waters of Southeast Asia.
It'll stay below freezing over much of northern Europe, with some fairly prolonged snow pushing north across southern Scandinavia and the Baltic states. But the far north will be dry. Much of Central Europe will be dry as well, but rain moving through northern France will spread across the Low Countries into Denmark later on. This is Sky World News. Our top stories. British police have confirmed that a former Russian spy and his daughter were deliberately poisoned with a nerve agent, and that the attack is being treated as attempted murder. Sky sources say Sergei Skripal, his daughter Yulia, and a police officer who was the first on the scene are all in a coma in intensive care. And the UK has told the European Union that a Brexit trade deal which excludes Britain's financial services sector would be unfair. Now, Britain has rolled out the red carpet for Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince. Mohammed bin Salman met the Queen at Buckingham Palace and then posed for pictures with Theresa May on the steps of Downing Street. But there were no smiles from the opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn as he accused the government of colluding with a war criminal. Sky's diplomatic editor Dominic Waghorn has more. The City of London has welcomed the Chancellor's call for financial services to be included in any future EU trade deal. Philip Hammond said all trade deals were unique, but any agreement must be fair and balanced. There was a warning from the EU, though. The Council President Donald Tusk said increased trade friction was inevitable after Brexit. OK, let's cross to Johannesburg now for the Business Day report. Now, the past 12 months has seen the rise of the Me Too movement as women around the world share their stories of sexual harassment. That movement started in Hollywood, but it's now spread to fashion, music, politics, and even into the boardroom. It's become a global conversation, not just about harassment, but also about gender parity as well. On International Women's Day, that's today, we hear from our foreign correspondents, starting with Alex Crawford in Istanbul. Life as a mother, equal pay and the modern-day juggling act were just some of the complex issues discussed as 100 women joined together to put forward their view of being female in 2018. Well, they met here, live on Sky News, for a special programme hosted by Kay Burley, as 100 years after some women first got the vote. Sky's Katie Spencer reports. This is Sky World News coming up in the next hour. A plot to kill with a nerve agent. The latest on the attempted murder of a former Russian spy and his daughter.